All right, Kirk Fletcher here. I'm just having a little fun on this Wednesday, ES Wednesday. So I have my nice 1966 335 here to play a little bit on this Wednesday, and I would like to talk to you all my guitar playing friends out there and everybody. And, something that I really thought about this morning when I was thinking about this today, I was thinking about one thing that I really see that I would like to say is a thing that I feel is somewhat missing in today's guitar players, and that's finesse. Not all guitar players, definitely, and I'm guilty of this too sometimes. It's just finesse. I feel that the older generation of guitar players from like the, 50s and the 60s and stuff like that, on both sides of the Atlantic had this sort of finesse. Maybe it's a combination of better guitars. Maybe it's a combination of volume. Maybe it's, now we're so bombarded by so many different things, just in general, life and everything. I don't know. But when you think of players like B.B. King and T-Bone Walker and Freddie King and Albert Collins and Robin Ford and Chris Kane and so many others, all the way back to the country blues guys like Robert Johnson and Charlie Patton, the thing that really made them really stand out in my mind is their finesse, the finesse that they have, and it's subtlety. It's different things that you really know. They can all, they're all using 12 notes, and they're basically all playing from a pentatonic blues type, scale or whatever, And the thing that I think that really sets them apart is some tuning. Some people have tuning, different tunings. Albert King and Albert Collins had different tunings and things. But the finesse and the way they would just touch and approach the guitar, like you got the Texas guys like, Gatemouth Brown and Johnny Guitar Watson and Freddie King and Albert Collins and all those guys like that. And I always felt that their playing had maybe a tad bit more intensity to it. They were a little bit more intense and maybe a little less sustained, like maybe a little bit more of a biting type tone, kind of, And I feel that, the guys that came from like, Mississippi and different places like that maybe had a more whiny, more lyrical, slower kind of approach, maybe. So I think these are really things that we really need to try and adapt into our playing, me as well, these days, and don't lose that beautiful classic blues sound. Me as well as a lot of my friends were very much influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan and people like that, the later generation. But I think it's definitely time for all of us to go back, a little bit farther and to really pick up on some of the phrasing and finesse and the different right and left-handing techniques of some of these older blues artists, like Otis Rush and B.B. King and, the many different periods of B.B. King. I don't mean just 81 or 1970. I mean, going all the way back to like 48, 49 when he was on RPM records and stuff like that, and just really taking that, to heart. And I think it can only help because when you think about what Eric Clapton and different people like that were listening to and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all those guys, they were listening to, a lot of that music because they came up in a time where they had those records available, and I think maybe the later generation, my generation and even later, are, kind of maybe not quite as hip to some of those records and things like that. And I'll definitely do another Spotify on, some great string benders and great finesse players and just different varying things. And if you can incorporate some of this into your playing, I feel that it can only help. You'll just have more places to go, At the beginning of this, video, I kind of just was messing around, obviously, with just some different approaches, and now I've been playing so long that it's sort of, I kind of do my own thing, but, I really tried to get almost more than just the notes, was the finesse and the way it made me feel and the way I felt they were trying to get it across, like more intense or more just singing on a note or whatever, like you have BB King, like playing like, it's very, finesse and just, really just, milking the note and drenched with soul. And then you got Freddie King, more like, I can't really do it because, he used metal picks, he used a combination of finger picks and a thumb pick. So he had that really bitey, metallic, cool sound, And another thing about Freddie King, too, is he's kind of coming out of like a different thing. He really had some cool, like, almost like kind of country blues in his playing, too, when you start to get into... or he played on these records with Smokey Smothers, and he played stuff like... stuff like that. So I really always feel like even when he's playing lead and just leading the band, from the videos and records that I have, he was always kind of had that deep kind of, funky kind of country blues kind of thing running through his playing in some kind of way, And then you got people like, Otis Rush, who I feel like their vibrato is wide, it's like, stuff like that. So I think it's really important to just pick up on all of these different little things by all of your favorite players and find out what makes them different from the other player, the two different heroes that you have, or, a person like, I don't know, even more obscure people too. It's really good to try and study who BB King listened to, or Stevie Ray Vaughan, or Jimi Hendrix, or whoever your idol is. Always a good idea to go back farther, because then I think you can kind of create your own style easier. The farther you go back, the farther you can go forward. I mean, check out Jimi Hendrix. I mean, he went back and, changed guitar forever. Yeah, and also too, like people like Hollywood Fats and Chris Kane and all those type people too, just listen to, check out some of their influence. You can research and things, and I'll definitely go into more detail about this in future little lessons on YouTube. See you next time. Take care, and please subscribe.